Hi, and welcome back. When we talk about the process of awakening or enlightenment, oftentimes it's been made into something complicated, right? That we need to study for years or research or understand. And if we make our remembering of who and what we truly are and the nature of reality, if we make this into an intellectual elite process, then most people will not entertain this or will feel like they're disconnected from it. And this is also not what it is. We do not need to have highly theoretical conversations. You also don't need to know everything there is to know about what did Buddha say, or what about the Dead Sea Scrolls, and who said what when, and what theories are out there. That's not what makes you enlightened. You can know all of these things, you can study all of these things for decades. That does not make you enlightened or awakened. That's only accumulation of knowledge. And yes, that knowledge can also bring you realizations and awareness. But it's, in the end, not even connected to the awakening process, because that is something completely internal. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it can be like an ego trap. If we think we need to listen or read about all of these spiritual topics or what other people are saying or what has been there in history, that can be an ego trap, as in our ego, our mind, right, can get hooked on that and accumulate more knowledge. And seemingly by being interested in all of these things, we may have the impression we become more spiritual. If somebody preaches about non-judgment and then goes around judging all day those who don't believe or whatever it is, then they're not enlightened. Then they're maybe not even spiritual. So, and that's again said without judgment, but I want us to remember that all we're doing whenever we're in the process of awakening or enlightenment is we're remembering the truth. And no matter what's being written, no matter what's been said, every word is just maybe an inspiration, maybe a helper to remember, maybe a pointer to the truth, but it is not the truth. That can only be found within your own essence, in your own stillness, in your own beingness, because the truth is beyond words and theories and moralities and ideas and thoughts. Any construct is not the truth. It's only a construct. It can help us move towards the truth, but the truth lies beyond. And so the awakening process has nothing got to do with it being intellectual and philosophical and knowing a lot of things about spiritual topics. No matter how ancient they might be, whether they come from the Egyptians or the Atlanteans or the Bible, it does not matter. It really doesn't matter. Because awakening happens within. And living as the expression of the awakened consciousness, that is where we're on the path to. That's where we're heading. That is actually what we're doing. But it's only remembering. It's not accumulating knowledge. So when we look at then of simplifying the process of enlightenment again, or the process of awakening, or living Christ consciousness, right, discovering our own consciousness, it's very simple actually. And this is also something I want to just convey again, and maybe you can use this again as an inspiration. Whenever something is true, it is actually also simple. It's not complicated, it's not intellectual, it is simple. The truth is simple. So there are two aspects that I want to kind of convey and transport, and that are also in the ancient texts and in what other conscious avatars or souls have shared with us on this planet in their roles as teachers and as way showers, right? So the first one is what do we do when we become conscious, as in when we find out who and what we truly are. So number one, we realize that this is an illusion. It's this illusion of being separate, that we have been living in the illusion of separateness and the illusion of ego, meaning identity. Identity or identification with form, with this form, with the thoughts, with the emotions, with the history, with the connections, with the skills, with the life on earth, with the possessions, with the job. So identification is the illusion. And when we awaken, we realize that this was the illusion, that this is not who we truly are. So one major aspect of awakening is the disidentification from form, the disidentification from the illusion. And this also means that we get this sense that we're not separate, that it's actually, we are part of this current, part of this energy that is within everything and all, and in between everything and all. And that's also what we are made of. So we also realize that oneness is the truth and the basis, instead of the illusion of separation. And in this oneness, we come to then see non-duality as the foundation of everything, meaning we are living in a world of duality, but this world of duality can point us back to the truth of non-duality, in that what we classify as, let's say, right or wrong. Okay, that in the end there is no right or wrong, because all exists in the one field of divinity, and all comes from this one divine source. There is no source of wrongness, no source of evil. It is all arising within the consciousness field of the one infinite creator, or creator essence, whichever you want to call it. So if everything arises in that, everything comes from that, no matter how far apart it sees itself from the creator, how much it has forgotten that it is part of the creator, meaning how much negative polarity it is living. So like separation consciousness, domination, suppression, power, evil, if you want to call it that, right? But even that is only the unconsciousness. Like that is a representation or an example of unconsciousness. Meaning if that, whatever is evil, became conscious again of what it really was, it would be the opposite. It would be love, because love is the truth. Love is consciousness. So to simplify this, the first thing, there are two aspects. There's no first or second, but there are two aspects. One is we would realize in the process of awakening, or you all possibly do that already, you realize that you're not form, that you express your divine essence through form, and you interact with and experience form, but you do not identify with it. Okay? And this is tangible. This is something you can experience and work on, if you want to, every day. You don't need to read a book for that. You don't need to know what's in the Bible for that. So anyway, you can follow teachings of teachers that have already grasped that and embodied that here on the planet, because they're wonderful examples. But they show us what it is about. They show us. And what is it they show us? They show us I'm not the body. Like, you can destroy my body, but my essence will live on, for example. And Jesus showed that even with the resurrection of the body, to just make sure that people understood we're eternal. Life continues. We don't die. The form dies. The body dies, right? So this is one thing, and the other thing is that it's so easy. If you want to express your spirituality, you being spiritual, all you've got to do, and I put it in simple terms, although it may not be that simple or easy, all you got to do is live love. That's it. All you need to do is realize you are love, realize everything is love, and then embody that and live it. The love for yourself, for your fellow humans, for the planet, for all creation and the Creator. That's it. So if you do that in every second of every day, you are an enlightened and inspiring and lightful being here on the planet. Because that's what it is. What we in 3D here get awakened to, or what enlightenment encompasses, is that love is what matters. Love, living love, and wonderful great teachers have shown us that with their life, right? And have taught that over and over and over again. Like, it's not the educated people in the temple you need to listen to. It's about very simple loving, living love, and realizing that this is actually who and what you are. Because if Source, if our Father, if you want to call it that, is unconditional love, unconditionally loving, then so must we be. Whenever we're not, we're identified with something else but Source, but our own essence, which is fine too. I mean, this is what it's all there for, right? To identify in order to find our way back to our true beingness. But it is as simple as that. Living love, embodying love on earth. And by that, I don't mean a kind of self-denying love. I mean an all-encompassing love, including yourself. So self-love is part of that. Not from an egoic point of view, but from a soul perspective. So love in the sense of like this unconditional love that we are has some qualities in it, to me anyway. I'm sharing with you the way I perceive it. It's not just like a feeling or an attitude. It's a state of consciousness that not only includes that love, but this love is vibrating with, I would use terms like peace and joy. And peace and joy are part of this unconditional love. So it is, it's calm and yet it's joyful. And it's the pure joy of existing, not being identified with anything or having to do anything or even having to create anything. But there is a joy simply for existence that accompanies that love, or that is a quality of that love. So if you want to know how you live an enlightened or a truly spiritual life, I'm just going to tell you, number one, live love from your true beingness in every second of every day, with every thought you think, with every word you share, with everything. Live that joyful, peaceful love. Love, love, love. That is the greatest spiritual practice, and that is just simply being your authentic you, because that's who we truly are. And the second thing is disidentify from everything that's form, from everything that limits this love perspective, this kind of flow of eternal essence or energy. Meaning that whenever we choose, and we do choose that as human beings, right? We don't just sit here being love because we have a body and we have a mind that produces thoughts and so on and so forth. We have emotions. We have things to do here because it's a world of action, and that's good. But what do we identify with, or who do we identify as? That is the key. So who do you live as? Do you live as this name and this body with this history and the goals and the aims and the desires? Because that is all ego. Or do you actually recognize, I'm simply divinity with no desire. I don't have to do anything. I am divinity getting to experience a portion of myself through this limited incarnation. But I am divinity. I don't have a name. I cannot even put anything on it. If I had to name it, it would be unconditional love. Expressing, and the more you express that, this essence, through your human self, the more enlightened you are. It's as simple as that. It's not about a mind process. It's not about understanding. It's not about reading. It's not about... These things can help. But if you identify again with that, I have studied all this. I have a degree or a doctorate in theology and philosophy and Greek philosophy. And that's all fine and well. And it can help you following the path of truth, right? Or finding it, or getting some breadcrumbs along the way that help you find the way into truth. But truth lies beyond all concepts and all teachings. So no matter how much you have accumulated in terms of knowledge, that doesn't say anything about your enlightenment. And this is encouraging now for everyone, right? For all of us Joe Soaps out there, that enlightenment has nothing got to do with intellectuality or being smart, or even being good with words. All of that is not relevant. Embody love, live love in every way you can. Love for yourself, love for others, love for the planet and the animals and nature, and love for the Creator. That's all, as simple as. And those who embody that the most, who live that the most, they're the ones, let's say, highest up on the ladder for graduation onto the next level, into 4D. Because the next level of consciousness is that of love and compassion. So the next level of consciousness, where all of those who realized that this is actually enlightenment, this is what we need to get and what we need to remember. Really, it's just remembering, because we know this, because it's who we are. We remember, we just remove all the layers of forgetting and all the layers of identification with illusion. This is then in 4D, where all of those souls who have come to that realization will continue their journey of consciousness. It doesn't stop there. Like, there's so much more. It's actually infinite that we get to explore on our journey back to where we came from, back to source. But it's infinite. It's never ending. But like in the law of one, it says that love and compassion and forgiveness, they're the salvation of third density. This is what we need to become aware of and realize as third density beings living in 3D in order to move to the next level of consciousness. So this is the next level of consciousness, and that's why we need to learn the lessons in 3D that will bring us to that realization. All that matters is love, right? And this may be disappointing to anybody who is into making the journey of awakening into an intellectual process. You can still continue doing this, but maybe keeping an eye on how much do I actually feed my ego and illusionary self-concept with that, which is in the end completely counterproductive to awakening and enlightenment. the more we feed the ego with no matter what, even if it's spiritual stuff, the more the ego prevails and gets stronger and actually prides itself of all the knowledge that it has, or the discovery it has made, or the great conversations it can hold with other intellectuals. We get to look at that. And it's, again, there's no judgment. But if we truly want to be enlightened, we just need to realize that all that matters is love, that this is who and what we are. It's who and what the universe is, that all is one. Unity is at the basis of everything. And that we get to, step by step, disconnect from the identification with any type of form to live, in the end, love. Have a wonderful and blessed day, and we'll talk again.